Having a coach or a sense of accountability really is not that big of a deal, especially if you're a guy in your 40s or 50s who's been struggling to lose your belly fat and lose weight consistently month after month for years. And even if you do lose the weight, you cannot sustain it without gaining it all back even faster than how long it took to actually lose it. So if that sounds like you, I recommend you watch until the end of this video because you may or may not need some accountability, right? So once again, if you're a guy in your 40s or 50s who works full-time for a company or you run a company, that alone already is going to suck a whole lot of time out of you on a weekly basis. You may be working 40, 60, 70, or hell, even 80 hours a week. Then on top of that too, you also have to help your wife out in terms of taking care of the kids. They may be 2 years old, they may be 10 years old, they may be teenagers. That's a lot of work. And it requires a lot of mental and physical energy. And then you then have to carry that same energy over into the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week if you want to target each and every muscle group effectively each week. And then on top of that as well, you also have to eat healthy in a way where it's seamless with your work schedule and your lifestyle. It's not easy. And anybody that tells you it is, or if there's this one thing that can fix it all, they're completely full of it. So that's why, if you're a guy that just cannot seem to find a sustainable regimen that's both effective and enjoyable, where it's just seamless with your lifestyle, you can't seem to do that on your own, having a coach or some sense of accountability really is not that big of a deal. Because really think about it, what is worse? Staying where you are right now for another 5 years, or paying somebody some money, going through some sort of pain to get some information and some accountability for the next 3 months, 6 months, or hell, even a year, if it means getting to where you need to go faster and staying there. Because there's so many of you guys that I've talked to that will lose weight, lose your gut, lose some belly fat, but then you gain it all back 10 times faster than how long it actually took to lose it. And there's a lot of reasons for this, of course, but you need to find a regimen that's going to be sustainable, that's going to be effective, or else you're going to have a gut for the rest of your life. You're going to be overweight for the rest of your life and have your kids look up to a man that is not fully healthy and doesn't have a flat stomach. That's something to think about. And I'm not saying this to scare you or to make you feel bad about yourself, but it's something that we have to tap into. Sometimes we have to tap into our negative emotions or the discomfort of the current situation that we're in to finally change. And if we haven't been able to do that on our own, then how are we going to be able to do it on our own if we've been struggling for 5, 10, or even 10 plus years? So that's why a lot of the guys that have come into my program that needed a sense of accountability are finally seeing results now because we've crafted out an effective and enjoyable plan, and they have me as their coach to hold them accountable. Sometimes you need it. Some guys don't. Of course, there are guys that are 55 years old that have a six-pack, that work out 6 times per week, also run a business and take care of a family. Those guys exist, but they're not common. Most guys are not going to have the mental capacity, the physical energy as well to carry over to the gym, over to their diet with everything else that is going on. They need someone else. And some people's lives are crazier than others. Some people got bigger families. Some people have a higher demand for work. And they just need someone else to hold their feet to the fire, hold them accountable, and really hold their hand through the situation that they're going through. And yes, that may be super painful for you to accept, but once again, what is more painful? Struggling with this for another 5 years, or struggling for 3 to 6 or 12 months, going through the pain of paying somebody some money now so you don't suffer long term? I think it's a pretty simple answer. And I'm not saying go ahead and just hire anybody without doing your research first, but it's something that's definitely worth looking into if you want to see results and sustain it if you got a crazy lifestyle. Because you may be going through a crisis right now. Things are pretty crazy in the world today. There's a lot going on. And if you know that you're going to be working for another 10, 20, or maybe even 30 years in order to provide for your family, it's definitely not going to get any easier. Once again, another very uncomfortable thing that we have to accept here is that we are no longer, ever, none of us guys that are working at our desks for long hours, that also have a family to provide for, we're no longer going to be in a situation where we have ideal circumstances. Ideal circumstances are now non-existent, 110%. And the sooner we realize that and understand that any bit of success is going to come from a place of discomfort and it's going to come from a place where circumstances were not ideal, the moment we realize that and take action anyway is the moment you see results. You cannot think back to a time in your life where you experienced some level of success and it did not take place in an environment with ideal circumstances, and it did not come from a place of discomfort. It most likely came from a place of discomfort, and it most likely took place in an environment with unideal circumstances. And this is the exact same thing. Literally every single guy that's come into this program and has worked with me directly, the moment they get that sense of accountability, it's game over. Because most of you guys know what to do. And a lot of the guys that came into this program had a good idea of what they should be doing on a daily basis. They just needed somebody else to hold them accountable. This was true for Dion, who lost 12 pounds in his first month. This was true for Brian, who lost 10 pounds in his first 3 weeks and lost a whole lot in the way of abdominal body fat. This was true for Chris, who lost 36 pounds in 3.5 months, needed somebody to hold him accountable. Then we started working together again a few months later. Then he lost another 10 pounds and got to 190. It was also true for Steve, who has now lost 20 pounds in his first month. And all these guys had the exact same scenario at play here. They knew or had some sort of idea of what they should be doing, had a good understanding of that, maybe needed a little bit of additional information, but they needed some additional accountability from a one-on-one coach that was going to give them a structured plan that fit seamlessly into their lifestyle and with their busy work schedule, and still allowed them to have that flexibility with their family, going out to eat, going out to fast food restaurants, going out on vacations, but still finding ways to not only keep the weight off, but know how to keep the weight off indefinitely. And be able to do so in an unideal circumstance from a place of discomfort. And I'm not saying this to show you that it's easy. If anything, I'm saying this to show you that it's hard, because there are certain guys, and it may be you, that just may need some accountability, that may just need someone to work with you directly and may need to hold your feet to the fire a little bit, light a fire under you to go work out, to eat healthy whenever you're going out with your coworkers, or to stay consistent with your diet if you're going to be gone on vacation for 2 weeks, or what other example you'd like to use in terms of a temptation or anything else that comes up that could possibly hinder your progress. Some guys need it, depending on the state of your life, depending on how unideal those circumstances are. And hell, if anything, the more unideal circumstances are, that should signify more of a reason for you to actually take action today rather than later, because if you continue to put it off, it's not like things are going to change and get any better. It's most likely going to get worse. And once it does get worse, you will not want to do anything about it if you don't want to do anything today. So if you're ready to make a change and get a flat stomach, even if it means having somebody else there with you to hold you accountable, then you know what to do. Click the first link in the top of the video description, and I will help you fast track your progress and lose your gut for good. So that's it for this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.